Hello, 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 everybody. How are you today on this wonderful, wonderful, beautiful Monday? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mary D Talk Show. For those of you who've never been here before, my name is Mary D Welch, and I am your host of the Mary D Talk Show. And I am so happy that you made it. I know I had a couple of little technical things. That's life. That's what I've come to terms with. That's just called life. And it just happened. So I wanted to take this time to welcome you to the show. I'm sitting up here. I want to first say thank you to all of our live viewers. Thank you to all the replay viewers. Thank you to our executive producer, my husband, Oliver. Hi, babe. And just all of you, just thank you, thank you, thank you. Before I get going, I'm just went down my throat. I want to introduce to you also a couple of books. Many of you know, if you're on the email list, there's a new book coming out soon called, not say Save Your Hope from Probate. No, the new book coming out is a new children's book titled When I Was on the Moon. It's the first book that I have written that has a little girl on the cover, first time. Why this is fascinating to me, because I've never had a little girl on the cover of any of the books. So first time, little African-American girl, she plants her flag on the moon. And the title just says, When I Was on the Moon. So I'd like to share that with you. Well, I'll be sharing it at the next show, not this show. I will actually share the book cover with you and everything, and probably tell you where you can get the Kindle version. I should have the Kindle version up by next week, and you know where you can go in and get the Kindle version, and then the hardback will be up in about a month, or the paperback. So I wanted to share that with you. Now, for the books that are already on Amazon, it's this one. Have you seen The Red Elephant? Many of you seen these. Saying No Nicely. It's right there on Amazon. Stuck in the Elevator. Justin Lost a Tooth. Bradley Can't Find His Pants. All these are right there on Amazon. And some of you have seen this one. I haven't talked about it that much. And this is called The Big Black Journal. This is for sisters, but there's also one there for boys. If you go to Amazon, go to Amazon, you type in my name, Mary D. Welch, you'll see a page. I think they just created a page for me. So you'll see the page, and it's there. So I wanted to just let you know about that. Now, the topic that we're going to talk about today, and we may do a part 2. We're definitely going to do a part 1, but we may do a part 1 and a part 2, because this is a serious topic. Well, I think it's serious. Well, it is serious, because this is about something many of us don't want to face, and we don't want to deal with it, but it's real. And that is probate. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about not just probate, but many of you heard me talk about transfer on death deeds. What is that? We'll talk about trust and what's in a trust. We'll talk about that. I'm saying that because I just had a conversation. Oh, hi, Elaine. Hello, Elaine. Oh, happy and blessed Monday to you too. I believe today is Earth Day. So happy Earth Day also. Always good to see you, Elaine. So I just wanted to go over some of the things that we have talked about. I haven't talked about in a while. Let me say that. It's been a while now since I've mentioned any of these things. And I forgot to let the streamer go on. There it is. Okay. So we're going to talk about first, what is a will? Now, many of you say, oh, I know what a will is, and I know I have a will. And, I say that because I hear this all the time. Now, what is a will? A will is the whatever it is the person has, and they want to will it to someone else. But basically give is what it amounts to. Now, some of you may say, well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with giving it away? There's no problem with that unless there's someone that's contesting it. Man, let me tell you what that means. And I almost forgot. I forgot to start. I'm not an attorney. let me stress that I am not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. I am someone who has kind of looked into these things, but remember, everything you hear is not, may or may not coincide with the law. Some of it's my opinion, has nothing to do with the law. But so some of it may be the law, but I don't want to give you the impression that I'm a lawyer. And the reason I have to say that, I was blessed to have attended law school, but at the same time, our professor said, anytime you're talking to anybody, always say you're not a lawyer, because that means if I don't say that, you can say I'm practicing law without a license. That's the reason for that. I know. I was surprised when they told me, but anyway. But the point is, we have to say that. It's really to cover ourselves, pretty much. I think that's what he was trying to just get us to understand. We are covering ourselves. So now I can proceed with anything I say. Remember, it's my opinion. Okay, what is a will? A will is a document, usually written or typed. I'm going to say all these things. I'll tell you why I'm saying them. Now that we have that you can videotape, I don't know how that, with AI, who knows what can hold up in court anymore. I don't know. I would think it probably wouldn't hold up in court because of all the things we can do with the audio and visual now. So I would say it probably wouldn't. But normally it's written, and I'm pretty sure it has to be written because you have to show it to the court, or show it, has to be presented to a judge. If someone passes away and they do not own property, usually it's not as hard, let me say that, to go through the legal process. The only reason it's hard is when people own property. I know. So the point being, if someone owns property, they're the owner of that property, and they pass away and they have a will. Well, let me go back. Let me start if they don't have a will. Let's go back to that, because that's the truly. So we'll go through, you don't have a will. Then we'll go through, you do have a will. We'll go like that. So you don't have a will and somebody passed away. What happens? Okay. And you own property. Let me preface. You own property, and this happens every single day. Every single day, these things happen. People own property. They never wrote a will for whatever the reason, or they don't have it in a trust. And I'll talk about what a trust is also. And they pass away. And I'm saying that, I'm going to use Kobe Bryant as an example, because Kobe Bryant, as we know, died in the crash, the helicopter crash. I don't know the situation of everyone on that helicopter, but I would just, without knowing, a pretty good guess was somebody died was called intestate. They did not have a will. They did not have a trust. I don't know this though. See, that's why I said this is all my opinion. I don't know, but I do know this. If you own property and you did not write a will, or you do not have a trust, it automatically goes into the court system. There is no, should it go there? It's going there. You cannot sell the property. You cannot do anything to it. And you have only so long to do that, to report it to the courts. Now, I don't know what that's what I'm saying. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how long you have to do that, or the window to do that in. I don't know what that is. I just know you have one, but I just don't know how long it is. So I want to stress that. So that's number one. Now, let's say you pass away and you do not own property. Then usually in that situation, people, not usually, I'm not going to say that, because there's nothing usual about this going on. Then some people, they have estate sales. They have all kinds of things, that they can distribute the property. But that's a whole, get into another topic. I want to stay focused on what a will is and things like that. Okay. And for me to stay focused is really good, by the way, because I tend to go off on these tangents. So someone passes away and they do not have they do not own property. then it's easier to distribute that estate. Let me say that. Because normally it's going to be the contents of their house and the contents of their bank account, or their retirement account, whatever the case may be. So it's easier to distribute. And let me quickly do a short tangent on that. If you have a bank account and you're the only person on that bank account, one way to make it easier for anyone to access your funds after your passing is to have them on as a beneficiary. Let me say that again. You have a bank account and you want to leave whatever available amount. Let's say, I don't know, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, $1 million. It doesn't matter what the amount is. It can be $1. The only person that can access that account is a person that's listed as the beneficiary. The person that's listed as the beneficiary, you can put this, you go to your bank or your credit union or whoever is your keep holding your, it's either usually credit union or bank, but and you put a beneficiary on the account. Then that person will receive, the only two things they have to take to that credit union or that bank are their ID. What else? Because I actually had to do this. I had to take, and the death certificate. That's it. I took my identification. Excuse me. I took the death certificate, and the bank made a check out to me. That right then and there. They didn't even question anything. There was really nothing to question. I was the only name on there. And they said, had it been other names on there, we would have had to wait until all of us were present. They could not have just issued the check to me only. You have to, it's whoever they leave on there as a beneficiary. Whoever is the owner of the account has to do this. They go into the credit union or they go into the bank. They put whoever they want as a beneficiary. That person does in no way affects that bank account, cannot withdraw money from the account, cannot in any way affect that bank account. The only thing they can do, literally, is do what I said. They would have, that person has to pass away. They bring in that death certificate and they bring in their ID. And the institution will issue them a check. That's it. That's on a bank account. Okay? Or a credit union account. Same difference. So I'm saying that because many people haven't done that. I've heard when people say, we have to wait a month before we can have the funeral. Anytime I hear that, I know why. Because you have to wait 30 days to go into that bank account if you haven't done what I'm suggesting, which means if they had did what I'm saying, they could have gone the same day the person passed away and they would have received that. They would have been able to get into that account. And I'm not trying to sound like they money grubbling or anything like that. I'm trying to say, honestly, there are expenses when people pass away. I promise you there are. There really are. I've unfortunately been the executor for an estate. I'm the sister of two brothers that passed away. I mean, anyway, been through it. So I'm saying to you, on the bank accounts, if you have a bank account and you want to leave if you're single, let's say you're single. Well, to tell you the truth, you don't have to be single to do this. If you're the only signer on the account, if you're the only one on the account, let me just make it pretty clear. You're the only one on the account. Then you may want to do something like this. If you're the only one on the account, because when you pass away, no one can they have to wait 30 days to get the money out of the account. And I know it may not seem like a long time. When you're trying to bury people, you really want it over with. You don't want to just be sitting there twiddling your thumbs waiting, and you're waiting to get the money to bury them. And that has happened. That has definitely happened. So I would just caution you about that. If you're one of those people and you're the only one on that account, that could actually even be, let's say you and your husband or your wife have separate bank accounts. So you want to put each other on the account. So if anything happens to you, they can get in the account, because if they're not a signer on that account, they can't get in. Doesn't matter that you're married to them. Does not matter. So that's another thing to consider. And I'm going to have to send out this out in an email, because it's not something we talk about. I just had this conversation with a couple of ladies yesterday, and they were like, "What?" They listening to me, and they said, "Do you know? I've never heard of the things you're saying, never." And I said, "I know we don't." And she even said it. One of the ladies there said, "Nobody talks about these things." I said, "We don't. We just." I don't know. We think somebody else is going to talk about. I don't know what we think, but the point is, we don't talk about it. So I would encourage you um, to do that. Another thing you can do, and I am going to get back to the property. I haven't forgot. If you have a vehicle, those of you that have cars, that's another way you can leave that to a beneficiary also. And all they have to do is go to DMV because their name, you have their name as I'm trying to think how there you can get a form from DMV and it says who the beneficiary is. They bring their ID in and they can put the title into their name now, the title of the vehicle, because if it's not in their name, they can't sell it. I know it's little things. I need to really put. I've got to put. Maybe I should put it in a book. Maybe. Well, those of you know, I did put. I'm at the transfer on death deed. There is a book on Amazon that I wrote over 2 years ago. I think more like 3 years ago, called "Save Your Home from Probate." Right now, if I look last, it was 5 stars. Everyone that has purchased that book, because it's going to save you. When I tell you the thousands of dollars that can be saved by this is unreal. But let me go through these 2 things again with you so you're clear on this. And there's no question about this. If you are interested in more information about these things, I'm going to put my email. You guys know my email. I'll put it in there again. Mary@marydwelch.com. I'll put that up there for you. It says it won't be on Facebook. That's what they're telling me. It says Facebook. Here's what Facebook said. Okay. Now, I don't know if it's on it wouldn't put it up. I'll tell you what it is. Mary, Mary, at ampersand, marydwelch.com. That's the email. So you can, if you have any other questions about what I'm saying, because it's a lot of information. I should have said, grab a pen, grab some paper. But remember, this is up on, you can see this anytime on YouTube. It is on LinkedIn. It is on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. It's on all those different social medias and Twitter. So it's there. You can come back and watch this anytime if you want to see any of this. But remember, I am not a lawyer. You can look all this up for yourself. It's just because I went through it. That's why I'm here to talk about it. Because in some part of me, I'm like, I would have never wanted to go through it, but I went through it. You know, I survived it. Oh, there's someone. Did I put it up? It's a show. Oh, it's show. I think it's going to show on all the other social medias. Maybe that's what it is, which is fine. So you can email me there. And if you have any questions about the things I'm saying, because I want you to be real clear about these things, because they can be really important. It can be in fact, I know they're important. Everything I'm telling you, I've watched people go through, where some of them, they lost a spouse, the kids came, the children, which are not, it was their spouse's biological children, but they had no right to come and take the car. Let's say the car. They took the car. They had there was no, they had no right to do that because they were married, the husband and wife. So they were able to get the car back. The car was in the husband's name, but they can put it in their name, and then they were able to sell it. Now, for some of you may think, oh, that's a small thing. That may not be a small thing, depending on what kind of car it was. So it can be a big thing. And it's still one of those things that they were really kind of taking money from the widow. So if you really be honest. So that's really important. But this is what I'm sure many of you have heard, and it's true. You have no rights if you don't know your rights. If you don't know what the right is, how can you have any? So I told the lady that it was the car belonged to her. And so that's why she was able to get it back and all those things. But she didn't know. She thought that the kids did have a right to take it. I said, no, they can't just do that. And I asked her, was it acquired after you got married? She said, yeah. But he just never put her name on it. Just, but it was acquired after the marriage. So it belonged to her. 50%. That's it. But I digress. So I would tell you though, let me just say this. I tell anybody, it is worth your weight in gold to hire an attorney. It really is. I know you may say, it's a lot of money. I've shared this with you so many times, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm gonna share it again, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because just because I talked about it before, this could be someone here at this show that didn't hear it before. So I probably annually I need to talk about this at least once or twice a year. I need to talk about these things because I don't know who the new audience members are. I have no way of knowing. So let me really go back and repeat this again. That's that teacher in me. Because as teachers, we repeat. And I'm going to tell you why. Very rarely do you get anything on the first time. None of us do. And I don't want to sound like that. It was rare. So repetition is key. And that's why you hear me going over and over the same thing. And then all of a sudden it'll be ding, 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 ding. And all of a sudden you remember everything. That's just how life is. At least that's for me. I remember it because I wrote the book. That's why it's still in my head. That book, the information is still in my head, but I do want to share it with you. So let me go over a couple other things. We already talked about the car. We talked about the bank account and your car. Remember your bank account, any bank account. Now, I'm not familiar with retirement accounts, so I don't talk about anything I don't know about. I don't know about that, so I'm not going to talk about that. I would check with whoever you have the retirement account with. That's the best way. That's the best advice I can give. So whoever the retirement account is with, that's who you check with and go with whatever they tell you, because I don't know what that is, but I would highly recommend you do that. Now, this has happened. Just so you know, people have divorced and they didn't change the beneficiaries on anything. Now think about this. The couple divorced. They did not change the beneficiaries on those bank accounts. I don't care who you married to, by the way. You can be remarried 100 times. Whoever is on that bank account, that's who they're giving the money to. This actually, and the stories I'm telling you are true ones. I'm not making these up. These are things where people, for whatever reason, told me these, or just in conversation I learned, but these are true. A husband and wife had been divorced over 20 years. True story. 20 years. The man remarried. He never changed anything. And the ex-wife got everything. Not the current wife. Listen to what I'm saying. The ex-wife, the one he divorced 20 years ago, received everything. Because he never changed anything. And so since he didn't change anything, even though they were divorced, it didn't matter. It went to her. So I'm saying, now there wasn't a property. Was it a property? No, it was the bank account. It wasn't the house. It was the bank account that he never changed. And who knows why? She was still listed as a signer on the bank account. So it didn't matter who he put as a beneficiary. Because it's a joint account, it's going to go, the money will go to the person. I don't even think he put a beneficiary. He never changed to put the new wife on there. And more than likely, and I remember I was speaking to the new wife. That's who I was talking to. And she said she could not believe, and it was a significant amount of money there. It wasn't like $10 or anything like that. And she said he would always say he was going to do it, and he never did. And he passed away. He had a heart attack not in his sleep. But he passed from a heart attack. And she was devastated because she thought he had done it. Because he had said he was going to do it, or he always said he had done something along those lines, but he never did. And so everything went to the first wife. I've been together for 20 years. So I'm saying this to say, you have to do your due diligence, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody's going to do it for you. I'm just, as they say, I'm just saying, you have to check and make sure if you're a beneficiary, it is up to you to make sure things are done. It's not up to anybody else. It's up to you. Okay? Now, so we did the bank account or credit union, and we did the car. Now for the house. The fun part. Okay. There's a couple of ways. It's called, many of you know about a trust. I think everybody, not everybody knows, but many of you already know a trust, what a trust is. And I will explain what that is, because as I tell you, that's that teacher in me, because as a teacher, you never assume people know. You assume they don't know, because then I can cover everything. I know when I hear people say, well, if you don't understand, raise your hand. I always think people are not going to raise their hands. We don't want to look like we don't understand things. We don't like that. We're not going to raise our hands. So anyway, long story short, don't worry. Now, what is a trust? Oh, that's a good question. It is a legal form that includes a medical directive, a power of attorney. It includes a will. Am I missing one? I may be missing something. I know it includes those three. Hold on. I'm going to do a real quick search for you because I don't want to give you any information that's not on point. But I know it's those three: medical directive, power of attorney, and a will. Okay. But I want to give me a quick search for trust. What's included in a trust? What's in a trust? I can't remember if it may not be anything else. It may just be those three. What's in a trust? What's in a living trust? Okay, there we go. Okay, a living trust. And let's see. Oh, this is somebody that wants to put a living trust together. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, well, let me just say that. Oh, revoke. It says it's called a revocable living trust. The will is called a pour over will. Medical directive, power of attorney. Oh, I did everything right. This is off the top of my head. Think about it. Anyway, the reason why it's important, these things are very, very important. They must be notarized. Anyone that is receiving a benefit from your trust cannot be a witness. So what I'm saying is, if you are a witness to someone's trust or will, you cannot benefit from that. You're one or the other, never both. And I'm going to repeat that because someone actually called me and the person had witnessed their will, and they also were one of the beneficiaries. And when I told them that will is invalid, they were shocked because they didn't know. And a lot of it is because we don't know. It's not that we want to do something illegal or something like that. We just don't know. That's really the truth. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to stop right here because I always forget to tell all of you, please subscribe to the channel. In addition to that, please share it out to your family and friends. This is one you probably need to share because this is really important. And I'm going to do a part 2, I think, next week. I think I am, because I think this is not talked about enough. It really isn't. And I'm getting older. Everybody, in fact, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I lost one of my cousins, a first cousin yesterday. We're the next generation. We don't have no one is older than me in our family. Let me say that. So we're the next ones up as far as I can see. And what's hard about that, it's just, as my cousin, first thing I did was say a prayer for her. She passed away. But the point is, we're that generation now that's passing away. We're where our parents were. So it's really important to me, as much as I can help as many people as I can, I try and do that. And that's why I'm giving you information. I do have a book, and it'd be nice if you purchased it. But if you don't, that's fine too. I look at life, whatever it's going to be is going to be. But the book is Save Your Home from Probate. Save Your Home from Probate. 33 states and the District of Columbia. Say it again, 33 states. This is the research I did. 33 states and the District of Columbia are in that book. So it's not just California. Remember, this show is worldwide. YouTube, all the social medias worldwide. So I knew that I need to make sure if you're anywhere in the country and you're in one of those 33 states in the District of Columbia, you would have access to the information. You just go to Amazon, type in Mary D. Welch, and the page will come up with the books that I've published so far. And that's one of them. It's on there. Now, back to the subject at hand. So I don't know why I said that anyway. Now, I mentioned a will. I mentioned a trust. As I said, medical directive, power of attorney, a will, that's all in a trust. If you go to an attorney, it can cost you, I don't want to say what it can cost you because I don't know. I can tell you what I paid for an attorney to do a trust for me, $1,500. And I'm saying that not to be proud of that. I'm telling you just what I paid. That doesn't mean you have to pay that. Let me just say that. But that's what it was. And this was over, my gosh, 30 years ago? That was 30 years ago. Now, I don't know what they charge now. From what I've been told, the price has come down. Thank goodness. But still, I would highly recommend you have an attorney do it. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying I would highly recommend an attorney to do it. Because when you're no longer here, ladies and gentlemen, people act crazy. That's all I'm gonna tell you. I've seen enough craziness to know when people aren't there. What I just tell you about yesterday, think about this. Think about what I'm saying. I was just in a group, just a wonderful, I was at a little get together yesterday. Sitting at the table, we start talking about these things. I don't even know how we got on the topic. Everyone at the table, think about what I'm saying here. Everybody at the table had a story where someone died and now family members no longer speak. Every single person, not one, not two, everybody. That's why this is so important. And they said at the table, they were like, well, we have a trust. And I said, and I even told them, I said, you might want to just double check it. I'm not saying anything wrong with it. And then the lady even explained to me, I would never give anybody's names, but she said, we even have property out of state. We have property. It was just, I'm listening to her going, all I can tell you, it's going to get ugly because we're talking a whole lot of money at stake now. And I'm listening to her going, as she's talking, the stakes are going higher and higher and higher because there's more money at stake. And she's the executor. So that already, my nose, I haven't had a nose itch. It's starting to come back. I don't know why. But it's starting to, but it really, when I started listening to her and the stakes start going up, I said, oh, this is going to get ugly. I didn't tell her that. Did I tell her? I think I did tell her. I said, this is going to get real ugly. You need to make some changes now. But as I said before, I'm not a lawyer. But I did caution her to really take the time and get legal advice because it's too much money at stake. When it gets too much money at stake, people go crazy. So anyway, so I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, you can use different. Now, you don't have to get a trust. Let me say that. I don't want to tell you, run out and go get a trust. I don't want to even give you that impression. But I will say this, if you're looking for an attorney, and if you're I'm going to speak for California, because that seems like where the bulk of the audience is California. California, in all 58 counties, there's 58 counties in the state of California. If you didn't know, but you learned something new. In each county, every single county, there's a bar association. Now, at every bar association. Now, as soon as I said that, went right out of my head. You can get it's a lawyer referral. Why am I saying these things to you? Because the lawyer referral is only, now I can speak for, I'm going to say what it used to be. I can't tell you what it is today because I haven't used it in about, oh my God, like 5 years. But I can tell you, it's less than $100. Let me say that. That's the best way I can cover the cost. It's got to be less than 100 because it was 50 then, and that's been 5 years ago. So I don't think it's gone up to $100 by now. It's probably more like 65, 75, something like that. The lawyer referral service, you get to pay for 1 hour. Think about what I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen. 1 hour of time with the board, with a an attorney that practices in the area that you need help in. This is really powerful. It really is. So whatever county you live in, whatever that county is, if you're in California, you can get 1 hour of time with that attorney in that area, whether it be probate, whether it be criminal, whether it be whatever it can be tort law, doesn't matter. You can't beat that, in my opinion. And I'm getting it from an attorney that practices in that area. Do you know what 1 hour of their time would cost if you did not go through that lawyer referral service? Between $300 and $500. $300 to $500. I mean $3. I'm sorry. $300 to $500. You can do it if you go through the lawyer referral service for, as I said before, less than $100. But I don't know. Every county is different, and I don't know what they charge. That's the facts. I do not know what they charge. But I know that it exists. The lawyer referral service, it exists, it's there, and it's there for the public. Now, let me tell you what I do when I did go. Like I said, I haven't been for a while. But when I did go, I always wrote my questions down. Because like it or not, ladies and gentlemen, when you get in front of an attorney, your emotions take over. You can't think. You just, and then this is what happens. You walk out the door and you think about all the questions you should have asked. Write it down before you. I took a yellow, those yellow tablets, wrote all my questions down. I left space in between each question. And you know why? Because I knew if I didn't have an answer in there, it wasn't clear to me what the answer was. So I didn't just write the question. I wrote the question and I left like 3 or 4 lines in between each question. That's how I did it. Hold it. I'm seeing, where am I? Because I think I saw some questions and I didn't even get a chance to answer them. Okay, I hope I didn't. Or if they left questions. Okay, I just want to make sure. So you write those questions. I'm going to say it again. The lawyer, I'm going to put it in the chat so you guys can see it. All 58 counties. The lawyer referral service. You have to pay right then and there. They don't, from what I remember, they don't accept personal checks. So you have to do a cashier's check, a money order. They only take certified funds is what I'm trying to say. You cannot bring a personal check because, people write bad checks. Let's just be honest. So you have to do that now. And I still haven't gone into the transfer on death, but I'm doing all this for a reason. It's like a buildup on purpose because all of these little things matter. All of the things I'm talking about, the lawyer referral service, being able to go there for, like I said, less than $100 into 58 counties and get this information. I got to send this out. However, it can help somebody. And it's going to help somebody because it can be family law. I mean, you name it. They're going to send you to an attorney. And as I said before, only bring certified funds. If you don't have a cashier's check, a money order, don't bring a personal. They won't accept it. They already know. So what's the other one? Cashier's check and money order is the only 2 I could think of. I guess I don't hear about American Express checks anymore. I don't know what happened to that. They probably still exist. I just don't hear about them. But I'm saying that just so you would go to the lawyer for just of your county, whatever county you live in. If you're in California, if you're outside of California, I don't know any other state how they handle it, so I can't speak on that. That's the only one I can speak on. They may have it in all the states. I don't know. So you call your the lawyer, not your bar association. They would know. Oh, I should put that's under the bar association. Here, let me put it's the bar, your county bar association. Oh, me and my nose. I tell you, I'm sure when I tell you there are people, even if let's say your home is in I should say local bar association. If your home is in foreclosure, go see a lawyer. What can it hurt? Call them. Now, the thing of it is when they have appointments, and you have to pretty much operate around their schedule, but that's still fine. That was fine with me. When I went in there and had all my questions answered, I felt like a new person. I said, okay, I felt better. I just felt better. Now, did it change the situation? It may not, but I felt more what was I? I was more confident about what I was doing or could do or could not do. Excuse me. I could do or could not do. So that's what's important. Okay. Now, we got time. Now, the next one. is a transfer on death deed. Let me put that down here because you guys really. Okay. Now I'm going to say this. I would hope you go get the book. I really do. The lady I spoke to yesterday, she ordered the book right in front of me. She said, "You don't understand. The things you're saying, nobody's ever said it to me. I didn't know about it." And she was saying her mother is elderly. And I said, all I can tell you, even if your mother has a trust, your mother have friends that don't even have a will, that don't even have a trust. And she was like, you're right. She tells me about her friends. They have property, paid for, everything. They have nothing. And their kids are going to fight. They're going to fight. That's all I can say. They say that, and this is what someone told me. Oh, he said everybody gets amnesia. Tell me about it. And you know what? People lie. That's why. What happens? Those of you see the court cases on TV. What's the first thing those judges say? Where's the paperwork? First, they don't even blink. I want to see the paperwork because they know people lie. So do it now while their person is living. They're lucid. They have the right mind. They can do, all that kind of stuff. Because when they're gone, they're going to accuse you of having done something anyway. I'm going to tell you that now. Yep. So I would tell you, it's so true. Oh, everybody gets something. Don't let money come in the picture. Don't let a large amount of money come in the picture. Oh, they're really going to get amnesia then. And that's why the lady I spoke to yesterday, it wasn't funny to me, but it was. Because I knew she was up. She doesn't even know what she's up against. I do. She doesn't have a clue. Because right now the mother's alive, everybody happy. But this is what I say: when the referee dies, look out. When there's no referee, because that's what it comes right down to. But it's usually the mom, but it could be the dad, it could be anybody. That's what I call the mom. We're moms, we're referees. We are referees. You're a mama, you're a referee. If there's more than one child, let me say that. Because if there's one child, what is it, a referee? That kind of thing. But if there's more than one child, you refereeing, whether you know it or not. But anyway, transfer on death deed. Oh my goodness. Now, in California, you can get a transfer on death deed. That means you fill it out. Now, and they changed the law, by the way. Let me just say this, and I have to go on it. You can get the book, but the only difference is you have to have a paper that has to be, you have to have it notarized by 2 individuals, which you didn't before. Think about this. They've changed it. It wasn't like that. Now you have to have it notarized by 2 people that will not benefit from that information. Who broke the lamp? Lord have mercy. Okay, let me finish reading this. Okay. First, Oliver says, "Hi, audience. Thank you for joining the show. Today, the show is very informative and important to those who do not know about the topic on hand." Thank you, baby. It's true. Thank you. If you know about this, you don't think anything of it, or you don't need it. And that could be, you may not need it. Let me say this to all of you. Somebody needs this. If you don't need it, you know somebody who does. And I have to go, Mr. Brown here said, if you only have one child, you know who broke the lamp. Thank you, Mr. Brown. And that is, how when things happen, everybody go, pointing to everybody else that they didn't do it, and I hate to say it happened in our house. Same thing. So I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, the transfer on death deed, you can get the book. Go to Amazon and go to put in my name, Mary D. Welch, in the page. Oh, hi, Ruby. Hi, Ruby. Good to see you. I'm always glad to see you. And then Ruby's on the East Coast. See what I'm talking about? We're on the East Coast. And so I say that you can get the book. You can go to Amazon and put in Mary D. Welch in the book. I have a page now, which is very nice. Thank you, Amazon. And it has the books that are so far. And that's not even all of them, but that's enough of them. But the transfer on death deed is, or the Save Your Home from Probate book is up there. And you can either get the paperback version. I think the paperback is $49 and the hardback is $99 on that book. But I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, if you look on there, you'll see nothing but 5 stars. because people that get that book know the value of it. The value of it is phenomenal. That's what I would really, really stress to you. It is truly phenomenal. I'm not just saying this because I wrote it. I'm saying it because it is. It's going to save people thousands of dollars. So that's why. And what's in there? Like I said, now, some states it's not called the transfer on death deed. It's not called that. It's called the ladybird deed. Michigan is the ladybird deed. Texas is the ladybird deed. I don't remember the other states, but I know for a fact, Michigan and Texas, it is called the ladybird deed. I'm going up and down because, I'm thinking, up there's Michigan, down there's Texas. Anyway, but the point being, it's called the ladybird deed. Now, what I want you to keep in mind, you want to know, you want to get the latest version for your state. That's what you want to do. So, but at the same time, let me say this, because in the book, every single page of my book says for educational purposes only. Why would I say that? You know, and I know. We are litigious. We believe in suing people. Let's just be honest. In the state of California, we don't have no problem suing people. So that was the recommendation. I had 3 attorneys look at the book, and they could not believe it. They're like, so you're trying to put probate people out of business? I said, it'll never happen, because many people never heard of it. Like what did I say yesterday? The ladies sitting at that table, not one of them had heard of this. Not one. They literally were sitting there with their mouths open. I'm not kidding. It was like, what? And then plus we have couples that live together. This is another thing. Couples that they're living together. The property may be in one of their names, not both. Maybe they bought it before they got married, but they want to leave it to the spouse, but they haven't put their name on the deed for whatever the reason. Doesn't matter. Maybe they have bad credit. I don't know. Because remember, creditors can come after your property. They can fill this form out and leave that property to the other spouse. So there's no question, because if you don't do it and you have kids, they come in. And I'm sure many of you heard the stories, and I know I'm running out of time, but where the person was married. This is actually, I'm just telling you, these are true stories. I wish I could say they weren't, but they are. They remarried, but they had acquired the property prior to the marriage, because anything you have prior to the marriage belongs to you in California, because California is a community property state. If you did not know that, we are a community property state. Anything you own after you say I do belongs to the community. Let me say that again. In California, if you have property and you own property before you marry, that's your property. That belongs to you. It doesn't matter you marry, if you're married or not, it belongs to you. Unless you change it, that deed will not change. It stays in your name. You can leave that property to your children, and that current spouse has nothing to do with that. Now, anything you acquire after that marriage is community property. It belongs to the community. That's why some people don't get married in California. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that until anyway. I found that out. I learned that later in life. And when I found out, I said, I understood it though. I do understand why we have that law like that. Every state is not a community property state. Some states, whatever you have is yours. Whatever they have is theirs. And unless that's it. It's just everybody's different. But that's what's known as states' rights. Our state, the state of California, these are the rights we live under. Everybody doesn't live under the same rights. Now, usually the states that border us tend to live under, we tend to have the same types of laws because we go in and out of these states a lot. That's why they tend to be like that. So back to the subject at hand. The transfer on death deed. You can get the book, but you don't have to. Let me say that to you too. You do not have to get the book. You can go to the county of the county you live in state of California. You go on their website and you put in transfer on death deed, and the paperwork is right there. I just gave away so much good information, but I'm giving it to you because I know it's going to help somebody. And God can bless me anyway. I'm not even worried about it. I already know. But what I'm giving you is they call keys to the kingdom. Go, yeah, as I mentioned before, 58 counties in the state of California. Go to the county of records. To the county of records. You go to the county and of records where usually where you're going to get your marriage license, where your deed is for the property. You go to their website. You type in transfer on death deed. When you do the search, it'll come up and the paperwork is all right there online. You fill it, download it, fill it out, get it notarized, file it with your deed. I'm not just telling you what it is, I'm telling you how to do it. Remember, this is not advice, it's my opinion. So, and you do that, you have your copy now. You could give it to the person you want that's going to receive the property. I think that's a good idea because how do they know you left the property to them? So I don't think that's a bad idea. Remember, that's my opinion. If you trust them enough to leave that property to them, why wouldn't you let them know you left it to them? I don't know. Some people have mixed ideas about that. And they're like, no, they may kill you for the property. I've actually heard people say stuff like that. But anyway, my take on it is I think you would want them to know that you left that to them. That's me personally. As I said, my opinion is my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. That's all it is. So keep that in mind. But what I just gave you is, I promise you, it's going to help somebody. Get those papers filled out, get them notarized, file the papers with the county. End of story. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. Yes, Ruby says, I may have missed the part, but does the transfer on death deed avoid probate? And the answer is ding, 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 ding. Yes. That's what it does. Avoid, you don't have to go to court. You have to go to probate. The property goes to whoever is listed on that form. Whoever that, I'll use my mother is deceased, so I use it. My mother passed away in the state of California, which she did not, as a matter of fact, but in the state of California. She had this attached to her will. Whoever she has on that transfer on death deed, the property would have gone to. Look at Ruby said, what? Isn't that something? I'm trying to tell you. But and Ruby, I don't know if you live in California or Maryland. I just say this. Maryland doesn't have it unless the legislature recently acted upon it. But when I did the research, DC has it and Maryland didn't, which I thought that was so interesting that DC would have it in Maryland. You guys are next door neighbors. I'm telling you what I'm look today that you're so welcome, Elaine. This is when I tell you there's somebody on here that need to hear this, ladies and gentlemen. Because it's called a poor man's trust. That's what this is called, a poor man's trust. Now, this is not to say, I got 5 minutes. I don't want to give anyone the impression they don't need a medical directive and a power of attorney, because you do. I don't want to tell you that. I don't want to belittle anything legal. Let me just say that to everybody. But I'm sharing this, and I'm so passionate about this because I lived it. I lived this. My mother passed away with a will. The will had to be probated. When I tell you I call probate the devil, that's what I call it. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I call it the devil because it is family members against family members. But you know what? I learned so much. I learned so much from that experience. It was not a good experience for me, but at the same time, it was an experience that I can share with other people and let them know you don't have to go down this road. This does not have to be what you have to deal with. Now, we didn't know. Nobody knew we could have done it differently. I did not know a will had to be probated. I didn't know that. I learned that after going through this process. So my knowledge of all of this came from having gone through it. And now I look back, thank God I went through it. Look how I can share with other people. Avoid it. It's the devil. I know people, I just said this yesterday. Somebody mentioned it. I forget what it was. And I said, avoid probate like the devil. Avoid it like the devil. I'm telling you, because you don't understand. This is, when I tell you, I literally have given away thousands of dollars in this conversation. I hope somebody takes heed to it. But we're gonna do a part 2 because I know I'm running out of time here. But I really got through it all. If I be honest with you, this is pretty much it. If you now, you, like I said, I told you what. If you're in California, now the other states, I can't tell you where to find their information. I did it up. I did the research, but I think about it. That's over 30 states. So I can't. I focused on California because I live here. So that's this. This is my home state. So I put more emphasis in that. Let me say this too. Georgia doesn't have it. I remember there were some states I was really surprised. Florida does have it. I was surprised that some states didn't have it. So, but then now, that was a few years ago. They may have it now. I'm actually going to go back and do a second edition. I haven't done it yet. Probably I won't be able to get to that till next year. I have so many projects on my plate, so I can't even think straight. So I can't get there until probably next year. But I will tell you this: in California, go to your county, go to their website, put in transfer on death deed. It will come up, download the forms, fill them out, get them notarized, and you take it to the county. You have to pay a fee to attach it to your deed. I promise you, when I tell you it is pennies that you are paying, and it is a pain that you cannot even begin to understand when you have to go through probate. I can't even explain it. I don't think I have the words to explain it. But I will tell you this. If you do this, you will thank me. One day I will get a thank you card, and you could throw a check in there. Because I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna be so thankful. Because even the people that have gone through it have said, their attorneys have said, "Who told you about this?" Their attorneys said it. They said, "You have no idea how much they saved you." Anyway, it is now time to go. Hi, Fayette. Good to see you. It is time to go. I have 1:59. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be back next Monday. I think that's the 29th. My nose. Anyway, on the 29th, and I will touch on this again, do a real quick review before we get into the subject. But I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.